Hey there MMO fans, Black here from CasaBLACK Gaming, bringing another video about Guild Wars 2 and my transition to it from ESO, and so I wanted to offer up some quick info for those players who might still be thinking about trying Guild Wars and you need another slight nudge or a good push in that direction. So now before I get into this video, I wanted to say a thank you for everyone who watched my first Guild Wars video. I will link it at the end of this one, and more so for all of the warm comments that I've received. I read them all and was happy to have some conversations with a few of you. If you want to see more, including some new player tips I am working on for Guild Wars 2, then please like, subscribe, and comment below to help this channel and my direction grow. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into this topic. So I don't want to lump every MMO into one category here, but there are more often than not obstacles that can cause players to not want to create or work on alternate characters. Many of those games might offer up a leveling boost, such as Lord of the Rings Online or WoW, which will usually come as a bonus offer with a higher price DLC or expansion as a reason to push people into that next pricing tier. To me, this is not a great reason to create an alt because many MMOs will still require an awful grind to get that fresh, high-level character to be worthwhile, and it usually takes more than a gift of levels and some top-tier gifted gear to really make that alt something more than possibly just another bank character. Typically, grinds for some games in the past I've dealt with usually falls within your skills or passive boons or other stat modifiers. Gearing up your armor or weapons has also been another huge grind in some games, or just having to repeat certain story elements over again to have something open up again, like a hot new feature, such as Lord of the Rings Online's legendary weapons. That's one I really remember having to do more times than I really care to admit, and it was something you definitely had to do with each character, and it was not just a simple go here and talk to this person quest. You had to do the entire storyline getting into Moria to get both legendaries. Now at the time it was pretty standard fare for a feature in an MMO, but again it was not alt friendly. You might also have some games where leveling is easy enough and you can quickly go from 1 to max level, but there might also be a lot of reputation grinds or skills that require set specific amounts of time to rank up, or maybe a horse that you have to sink in a daily point, like for 180 straight days, unless you use a store-bought boost. ESO. Speaking of ESO, no, I don't really want to get started on their two basic grindy guilds, the Fighters and Mages Guild. Those who know, just know. Now don't get me wrong, I fully expect to need to do some work on an alt to make them worthwhile, and I happen to be an altaholic on many games that I play. I've definitely done my time. Now, I could definitely go on, giving many examples of bad grinds or games that just are not alt-friendly, but that's not why you're here. You're here because I've promised you that Guild Wars 2 handles alts differently than many, if not all, MMOs, and so let's go ahead and get to those differences. So the approach Guild Wars 2 has taken with alts is that players who can have more than one main are more likely to stick around. And so to reward those players who would like to have more than a single character that is more than just some half-started, half-leveled up waste of data space, they decided to make alts easier to also be a great character that does not collect digital dust. I think most of us can admit we have many digital dust collectors in other games. I know I do. More than what I want to show or see. Now, I'm not a role player per se outside of having a few ideas for a great character name or maybe a theme, and then creating said character with high ambitions of leveling that sucker up to further expand my roster, only to get out into the game world and to suddenly be faced with the overwhelming remembrance of all of the deeds or reputation that I would need to grind in order to make this character ready to live up to its full potential. Even when a game might be in a slow winter of disc content, and I have plenty of time to put into working on some of those deeds, the fact is I rarely soldier on and wind up getting bored with the mundane and just end up moving on to another game altogether. I think that is pretty much the same old story for me across many games. I've created awesome, themed, or named characters only to give up on them because of that grind. Guild Wars 2 does several things to combat this. Will it work for me? I'm not sure yet, but I like what I'm seeing, and here are the many ways that Guild Wars 2 tries to bribe you to keep playing and leveling up those alts in no particular order. Alright, first and foremost, I think is Masteries. Now, I have not yet gotten into Masteries myself just yet, as my current character is actually 70, but at level 80 it seems that the whole world sort of opens up in terms of character progression. For those who are new and not sure what Masteries are and why they're a big deal, it's a system that unlocks various rewards or abilities across the account and not just that level 80 character. If you've played and seen some of the fabulous mounts that can jump, glide, or just straight up fly, those were opened up through the Mastery system and given to any of your alts as kind of like hand-me-downs, which is just epic. Fishing, using a skiff while fishing, and the large 2-player siege mount are also things Masteries will unlock, along with a number of other things. Now, Tomes of Knowledge are a consumable that grants a player a single level if they're under level 80, or a Spirit Shard if they are a level 80, which can be used to purchase items at the Mystic Forge. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, because you can start earning these even before you even hit level 80, and I'm sure that after you reach level 80, they might be even easier to earn. You can literally keep playing your level 80 character to earn levels for your lower level characters, and then just give them out to help those lowbies gain those levels. This will definitely increase a player's desire to level an alt and make it that much easier to do so. So I discussed with the Masteries, mounts are unlocked for your lower level characters after being opened up in the Masteries. But not only does the mounts you open up for your Masteries open up those mounts, but your very first mount, the Raptor, which is what you will be concerned with as a new player that opens when your first character reaches level 10, well, that mount will also be available almost immediately with any new characters that you create afterward. So even before your second character and on can reach level 10, they will already have that Raptor ready to use, which is just even more mind-blowing that the game does not even make you wait for level 10 to get that Raptor for all of your alts. Alright, now this is not an area I can comment on just yet, but what I've heard is that rewards that you earn in World v World can also be used to do things for your alts, and one such feature for alts is that with the World v World currency, you can use it to skip the hero point grind and get your elite spec very fast or instantly if you so desire, meaning that you can get a fresh level 80 alt up to snuff and ready to be very functional in no time at all. Shared inventory is one of those things that many MMOs have gotten on board with, and so this is not a stellar special feature here, but still you will not find yourself having to mail yourself stuff like you sometimes do in other games. You have a shared bank vault, and then you also can purchase shared storage slots, which of course cost gems, but you're given some with some of the expansions, depending on which upgrade that you bought. I think I started with 2 shared storage slots and got another with the Secrets of the Obscure pre-order I just did. I also purchased 3 more. I like how Guild Wars 2 does these because they show up anytime and anywhere you open your inventory, and so you can put certain items in them to be shared across all of your characters, such as the copper-fed Salvage-O-Matic, which was a gem bot purchase that I used to salvage all of my unwanted gear, and it being right there in a shared storage slot is just really convenient for alts instead of having to go to a location for shared storage, which is how many other games handle shared storage. So your early gear is soulbound, but ascended gear is account bound, and legendary gear unlocks, so any character of that same armor type, such as light, medium, or heavy, are going to have access without bank swapping to get it, and legendary gear can select any stat at will. Now this pretty much speaks for itself and really goes all in, along with Masteries, as to why Guild Wars 2 is so alt friendly, because gear chasing is sometimes so hard on one character, let alone alts. That is where many people will draw the line on grinding and why so many alts are left never to reach that full potential. So this is one that I am sort of surprised by because I cannot think of many games or any games off the top of my head that do this, but crafting recipes unlock across the account. Yes, if your hunter, who is a huntsman, finds a recipe out in the wild for, let's say, a jeweler, and you accidentally click to learn it, and whoopsie, guess what? Your jeweler will also know it. I have not had time to really let this sink in as my crafting has only just begun, but even still, I can see how alt-friendly this is, and just icing on the cake at this point, and I honestly do not need any other reasons to believe Guild Wars 2 is an alt-friendly game, but there are still 2 more on this list. Your home instance node is shared. This is one that I have not yet dealt with myself, but I have seen people mention that this is alt-friendly as well. I believe the unlocks your various characters unlock are available to all of your alts, but I'm interested on other ways the home instances might be alt-friendly, so definitely let me know down in the comments below how and why home instances can help with your alts. Alright, most of your achievement progress is shared. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, Guild Wars 2 has an achievement points reward system which you might have noticed and didn't think much about it, especially since you can only see the first 4 or so rewards, and on the surface these can look to be sort of minimal. A gold here, a laurel there, or a plus 1% luck or money gain, but this system goes all the way up to 60,000 points. That's 120 levels so far of rewards to aim for, where those minimal rewards can equal up to some huge incentives over time. Now granted, this is meant to be a long-term grindy reward system, but some games do not offer anything like this, let alone allow all of your characters on the account to contribute. This is a pretty big carrot to go for, and I'm not sure if this is something a lot of players ever max out on, but it seems like something to be proud of for an account. Now, of course, before we end, I did want to name off a couple of things that an alt will still need to grind for, such as all of the exploration points on a map. But as I pointed out, once you can use a flying mount, exploration gets a lot easier to accomplish with those alts. Hero points is another thing that you must earn, and unlocking those elite specializations is another thing you will need to do. But again, as mentioned earlier, with the World v World shares, if you're into PvP, you will find an easier time at obtaining those as well. So there's options even for the things you still need to grind for an alt account, just depending on your preferences. There are a couple of minor annoyances a new alt will need to deal with, such as sharing mining tools. If you have some from the gem store, you can share those in your shareable stores between accounts, and of course your personal bag slots will still need bags, but this is something else you can do as a hand-me-down sort of thing. As your main gets bigger and better bags, you can send those smaller bags on down. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video on how Guild Wars 2 handles alts very differently, and in my opinion makes alts very much worth doing. Now, if I missed anything, whether on behalf of why the game is alt friendly or maybe it's not, let me know down in the comments. I've really enjoyed engaging with the Guild Wars 2 community, and also appreciate how welcoming you guys have been on my very first video for the game that I put out. If you'd like me to cover more new player topics as that voice of a new player who is new to the game in 2023, let me know down below. That goes for veteran players as well. Maybe you're seeing new players come into the game and we're doing something totally annoying or wrong. Maybe I can help spread that word as well. Anyway, I like to end my videos on a positive note, so be kind to your fellow gamer. Never feel bad asking questions. It's better to know than to keep doing things wrong, and stay positive, gamers.